Hi, I'm Adrienne Williams-Octolin, Director of the Office of Disaster Recovery. I am here today on the campus of the Evelyn M. Williams School that will be the new home of the very first reconstruction of our damaged school, the Arthur A. Richards Junior High School. But before we get into that, I'm going to turn it over to Larissa Ellis, who will tell us all that's going on across the territory with the recovery.
From the WTJX studio on St. Croix, I'm Larissa Ellis. August in the news coverage begins with a territory-wide update on housing projects from the Virgin Islands Housing Authority.
At our Michael J. Corin Terrace community, the reconstruction of hurricane-damaged roofs for Building 8, 12, 17, and 18 is progressing very well. 95% of this contract is completed, and hopefully we should have 100% completed by the end of this month, August, putting us 1 month ahead of schedule. At Paul and Person Garden, our damaged roofs on Building 25 and the Community Center repairs contract was awarded to custom builders, with a notice to proceed to execute commencing on June 29, 2021, for a period of 180 calendar days. The contract completion date is December 28, 2021. We have 25% of this contract completed thus far. New barn beams have been poured and the roof framing completed at the upper portion of the community center. On Building 25, framing of the roof is currently under progress. On the Big Island of St. Croix, the roof repairs at Marley Homes and Marley Additions have been awarded to O'Reilly Plumbing and Construction, Inc. They are contracted to make permanent repairs to 5 damaged roofs located in Marley Homes and in Marley Additions. The notice to proceed was executed to commence work on August 16, 2021. And finally, we have the comprehensive demolition of the Ludwig Harrigan site and buildings. This contract was awarded to J. Benton Construction, LLC, to demolish and remove 70 residential units, 9 buildings, and 1 community center from the development.
Demolition has begun at Harrigan Court and should be complete by December 2021. The authority persists on its path to revitalize the territory's housing communities after the devastating 2017 hurricane season. A big project is underway on the small island. The Virgin Islands Water and Power Authority has started the first of a 3-phase project to underground power lines on St. John. VI WAPA's Cordell Jacobs and Shavante Marsh have the details on the $12 million project.
Right now we're doing the phase 1, which starts here in Frank Bay, and it's going to go through the town of Cruz Bay up to Mongoose Junction. There's also going to be a phase 2, which also starts at Frank Bay, here where our substation is, and it's going to go up Centerline Road up to the Myra Keaton Clinic. And then there's going to be a phase 3 that goes along the south side up to a point just past the hotel. The more underground infrastructure we have in place, that's the less amount of restoration activities that's needed on overhead infrastructure. And it's also, once it's installed, there's less operational costs.
We'll increase our restoration time by at least over 30% when we have any outages that's not involved on the overhead line. Of course, the aesthetics is another thing. When you're watching the beautiful waters of St. John, you'll be able to see the whole beauty of St. John without our electrical poles. This project will actually be in the Cruz Bay Historic District, and that alongside with our archaeologists that will be working with us, we're working to make sure that we don't damage the history of the St. John Virgin Islands.
Haugland Energy Group has been contracted to complete the project, which should be done before June 2022. Hammers are swinging on more than one project on St. Croix. We caught up with Commissioner Calvert White at Pedro Cruz Ballpark, one of the many sites under construction for the Department of Sports, Parks, and Recreation.
This ballpark means a lot to this community. We're talking about approximately 200 homes in the immediate area. But let's talk about Mid-Island. This field serves those people that want to have access to a baseball field. If you want to look at something close, you'd probably have to go on the eastern end of the island or the western end of the island. The estimated project cost of this facility is some over $200,000. Some of the work that's being done, we're going to be putting back up a new scoreboard. switching our lights from the high pressure sodium to LEDs, some work done on our press box, and some additional work done on the fencing. So we are very, very excited to get this here completed, where we could start seeing some more activities at the Pedro Cruz ball field.
Anthony Iwu, General Manager of Polaris Construction, gives some additional details on the scope of work.
So we do have lighting poles that have structural issues. Those structural issues, the foundations of those poles will be demolished. New concrete bases will be done. And once the new concrete bases are done, those light poles will be put back in place. Those light poles also, some of them require a lot of change out of the lighting fixtures. Those lighting fixtures will be the new upgraded lighting fixtures that have been approved by the territory.
The park's restoration should be complete by the end of September 2021. This is not the only project under construction. Commissioner White has more.
Currently, we have some additional projects ongoing where we have contractors on site. One of those projects is the Winston Ramos Center in St. Thomas. Everyone knows that facility is big to that community. It houses some of our after-school programs, summer camps, as well as just youth programs for the community. So we have a contractor on site doing that right now. That project is about 80% completed. Another project that we have a contractor on site is the Valdemar Hill, or also known as the Lookout, where it's a big site for tourists. That facility is 90% completed. New lights, some wall work is going to be doing there. And then we have Educators Park, where we had some wall work, some of the monuments, and some of the tables and chairs that we're going to be putting back there. That project is now completed. So, you know, the department is moving forward. We're starting to see a lot of our projects starting to roll out, and I'm very, very excited because we're going to be turning these facilities back over to the community.
Also on St. Thomas, a recent approval signals progress and a path forward. Darrell Smalls, Executive Director of the Hospital Facilities and Capital Development for the Territorial Hospital Redevelopment Team, shares the good news.
I'm standing in front of the Charlotte Kimmelman Cancer Institute, which was severely devastated following Hurricanes Irma and Maria of 2017. I'm happy to report today that FEMA, the Federal Emergency Management Agency, has declared that this facility will receive full funding for a full replacement. The executive team has been working with EYP Inc., that's the architects and engineers who are now under contract for the redevelopment and the redesign of this facility. We're going to reinforce the windows, we're going to reinforce the roof, we're looking at adding generating capabilities, everything that will make this facility to be able to withstand the next set of hurricanes that impact our territory, and that way we won't have any disruption of services to our patients. Working with the Office of Disaster Recovery, VITEMA, as well as our federal partners FEMA, to make sure that the timely processing of our payments, that way we will enable that there's no disruption to the delivery of equipment and contractors are paid on a timely basis. And that is one of the major things that we, working with the ODER, have resolved.
Let's shift back over to St. Croix for an update on Port Authority's Marine Cargo Warehouse Facility at the Wilfred Bumba Alick Port and Transshipment Center. Contractor Limartec was on site to provide a status update.
What you see behind me is the structural phase of the project. We are building the foundation, which consists of a pile and beam structure. We currently have the electrical rough-ins, the utilities such as the plumbing, sanitary system, and the storm sewer system has been installed. At the north side of the project, we have the office, which has 30-foot walls, and those are currently completed, and we'll be soon starting the beam and roof system.
We also spoke to William Binky, Senior Engineer at the Virgin Islands Port Authority, who provided a detailed breakdown of the project's funding and scope.
This $16 million project is being covered by insurance proceeds, as the old building was severely damaged by Hurricane Maria back in 2017. The new facility will stand in the same location with a similar square footage having a total area of approximately 43,000 square feet. The project benefits the community as it will offer a one-stop shop for customers retrieving shipped materials, goods, and equipment from the container port. VIPA, Customs and Border Protection, the Internal Revenue Bureau, and many of our major transshipment companies will all be able to operate out of this facility. With an on-site facility being able to accommodate our shipment companies and a capacity that can house a considerable percentage of materials brought in by these companies on a weekly basis, operations can flow more smoothly.
The Virgin Islands Department of Education held a virtual community meeting via YouTube on the 17th of August to share critical information with the residents of Paradise and the Territory ahead of the demolition of the Evelyn Williams Elementary School on St. Croix. The long-awaited resurfacing of Gallows Bay Road in Christiansted has begun. We took some time to visit that site recently. John Thompson of 11 Construction and DPW engineer Raydell Swanson were on site to talk to us about the status of that $2.3 million Federal Highway Emergency Relief Project.
We are currently doing the demolition of the existing road as well as the excavation of the subgrade in preparation of the new road. Currently we are working on the northbound lane, leaving the southbound lane open. However, that's open to northbound traffic only, not to create any confusion there, but that's how traffic is flowing through the job site. We are estimating a completion in early December of the entire project. The entire project is from the red light here at the red light at the end of the bypass all the way to the port here in Gallows Bay.
The benefits to the community, it gives the community a better road to drive on. It also helps the surrounding businesses around the community, easier accessibility to Gallows Bay. It helps other businesses that gets their goods and products from the port.
For more information on other open bid announcements, as well as up-to-date news on all disaster recovery projects in the Territory, log on to www.usviodr.com.
Thank you for that update, Larissa. I am actually standing here with Ms. Chanel Calwood, the architect for the Virgin Islands Department of Education, who is actually in charge of the design and the rebuild of all of our school facilities here in the Virgin Islands. It is an absolute pleasure. I'm here with also John Thompson of 11 Construction, who is going to be kicking off the first part of this project for the rebuild of the Arthur A. Richards Junior High School. So I know there's been a lot of questions and concerns about the selection of the new site here at Evelyn Williams to replace Arthur Richards Junior High School. How did the Department of Education come to that decision?
Well, first of all, we wanted community input so that we could develop the best possible plan for our children. We aim to make sure that every child at the end of our recovery process is learning in either a new or a fully modernized facility. We met with stakeholders, leaders from within our department, parents, teachers, union leaders, and senators to arrive at this location.
Wonderful. So the first step really is to demolish this facility. And so, Mr. Thompson, you have the big job of getting this project kicked off. What are your overall plans for the project, timelines, and for what is your message for the neighboring community?
Well, we have already begun removing trash here at the school, and that will continue for about 2 more weeks. At that point, hopefully we will begin removing the asbestos here. Asbestos is always a concern for everybody in the community, so we're going to do our best to protect the community. That asbestos will be removed in full containment, so it will not be released into the community. Once that asbestos is done and out of here, we will begin demolishing the school. That process will take about 6 to 8 months to complete, and we will have full involvement with the community, including testing houses for structural cracks or anything like that may have occurred during the process, as well as keeping the dust down, as that's always an issue with demolition. And of course, noise is always an issue as well. We're only going to be working during the daytime hours, so there's hopefully no issues with that noise.
So if there are issues and concerns, do the community they call? Who do they reach out to?
They can call 11 Construction directly, 340-713-1100.
1100. Very easy to remember.
So this is a major source of the drainage problems at the school. The courtyard forms a bowl and water collects here and ponds. We also have drainage issues because the water runs down the slope, backs up into the wall and seeps through the wall into the buildings. And that happens all around the site. So that led to a lot of drainage problems at the school. The new school design will not be like this, and the water will be allowed to drain between the buildings, so we won't have any flooding problems here with the new design. One of the reasons we're taking down many of the buildings in our facility master plan is because many of our buildings were built using beach sand, which has a high saline content. It caused the rebars to rust and corrode and expand within the slabs, and the slabs are breaking apart, they're cracking apart from the inside. If I took a crowbar to that, I could knock all of that out myself, and I'm not a terribly strong person. So these buildings have to come down.
Well, you know, the big question is, how long does it take to actually build a school?
Well, we're anticipating 2 to 3 years after we get our building permits. We expect to get them in the spring, right in time with the end of the demolition project. So as soon as demolition ends, we will roll right into new construction.
This is fantastic, and that's where Mr. Milligan and Mr. Matthew, your jobs will begin to assist with the construction management and ensuring that these projects are moving along.
Very well.
Yes, very well, ma'am.
All right. Well, you know, the schools and the rebuild of our schools are critical to the Brian Roach administration, making sure that we have facilities that are modern and that will educate the children of this territory. I would like you to stay up to date with what's going on with the recovery. We will always bring you updates on Recovery Roundup, or you can stay up to date by visiting our website at usviodr.com or tuning in to Recovery in Focus every 4th Thursday on WTJX. This is Adrienne Williams-Octolin from the Office of Disaster Recovery, along with the Virgin Islands Department of Education officials and 11 Construction, saying we will continue to build a legacy of resilience. Thanks for watching.